Welcome to Locked and Loaded Sports. It's time to lock in, load up, and win big. If you're serious about sports and love cashing in on solid picks, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's get to work. In this video, we will discuss the Saturday Divisional Round games with a pick on the spread and one for the total. That's 2 free picks per game, using a blend of historical data, advanced sports analytics, and real-world sentiment to deliver sharp and sometimes contrarian betting picks. Welcome back to the AFC Playoff Countdown, where the road to the Super Bowl officially runs through the Rocky Mountains. The stage is set for a massive divisional round clash as the Buffalo Bills travel to face the top-seeded Denver Broncos in a rematch of last year's one-sided postseason affair. The Denver Broncos enter this matchup as the kings of the conference after finishing the regular season with a stellar 14-3 record. They have spent the last week resting their starters and enjoying a well-earned first-round bye, a luxury that head coach Sean Payton hopes will provide a physical edge over a tired visiting squad. Denver has transformed Mile High Stadium into a graveyard for opposing teams, winning 13 of their last 14 home games behind an elite defense that surrenders fewer than 19 points per contest. With linebacker Dre Greenlaw expected to return to anchor the middle of the field, the Broncos are counting on their league's best home rushing defense to force the game into the hands of a young Bo Nix. Standing in their way is a Buffalo Bills team that looks as dangerous as ever after surviving a physical wildcard battle in Jacksonville. Despite a late-game injury scare, Josh Allen proved once again why he is a postseason nightmare, leading a dramatic fourth-quarter comeback to secure a 27-24 victory. Bills arrive in Denver with massive historical momentum, having covered the spread in 8 of their last 9 meetings against the Broncos. While they average over 28 points per game, the real secret to their road success has been a secondary that allows the fewest passing yards in the league. If the Bills can continue their dominance in the trenches and protect Josh Allen's foot, they have every reason to believe they can repeat last season's 31-7 drubbing of these same Broncos. When you look at the numbers, you see a classic collision between Denver's defensive discipline and Buffalo's explosive playmaking. The Broncos are incredibly efficient at home and rarely turn the ball over, but they are facing a Buffalo squad that has historically owned this matchup regardless of the venue. Even with the altitude and the extra week of rest favoring the home team, it is difficult to bet against the veteran experience of Josh Allen in a single elimination environment. Buffalo has been the better team against the spread recently and has shown a unique ability to dismantle Denver's defensive schemes. Because the Bills possess the league's top-ranked road pass defense and a quarterback who consistently rises to the occasion in January, the prediction here is that the Road Warriors will keep their momentum rolling. Expect a tight, hard-hitting defensive struggle that comes down to the final possession, but in the end, we are getting locked and loaded with the Bills to cover. Please leave a comment with your favorite divisional picks of the week. It helps our channel out a bunch. Thank you so much. Now we zero in on the total score, a line that feels like a razor's edge. With the betting total set in the mid to high 40s, we are looking at a classic conflict between Buffalo's high-octane scoring machine and Denver's statistical no-fly zone. There is a loud and clear case for this game to erupt into a shootout that clears the over with ease. Buffalo enters with the 4th-ranked scoring offense in the league, averaging over 28 points per game, and Josh Allen has shown he can put up points even against the stiffest competition, as evidenced by his 31-point performance against this same franchise in last year's playoffs. Furthermore, the Denver offense found a new rhythm late in the season, with Bo Nix showing a remarkable completion rate against zone defenses, the very coverage scheme Buffalo utilizes most often. If Nix can exploit those soft spots and the Bills continue their high-speed pace, this scoreboard can be flashing early and often. However, the case for the under is anchored in the reality of January in Colorado and the sheer dominance of Denver's home defense. The Broncos surrendered just over 18 points per game and have managed to hold their opponents to very low totals in their last several home contests, including a regular season finale where they allowed only a single field goal. Historically, 4 of the last 6 matchups between these two franchises have stayed under the total, as the physical nature of their rivalry tends to drain the clock. With both teams featuring top-tier scoring defenses and Denver coming off a rest week that allowed their heavy hitters to heal, this game has all the ingredients of a gritty, low-scoring war in the trenches. While Josh Allen's arm can defy any weather report, the combination of Denver's elite home rushing defense and the pressure of a single elimination playoff game usually leads to more conservative play calling. The Broncos will likely look to limit possessions and protect their young quarterback, while Buffalo's top-ranked road secondary will make every yard a struggle for the Denver wideouts. Because both teams possess premier defensive units that prioritize red zone stops over flashy plays, and given the historical trend of low-scoring affairs in this specific rivalry, we are getting locked and loaded with the under. If you want to be along for the ride, don't forget to subscribe. We appreciate you. As we shift our focus to the NFC, the lights shine brightest on the Pacific Northwest for a high-stakes divisional round rematch between 2 bitter rivals. While the Denver Broncos enjoyed a quiet week of rest after locking up the #1 seed in the AFC, the Seattle Seahawks spent their bye week preparing for a San Francisco 49ers team that is coming off a physical battle against the Philadelphia Eagles. The odds makers have installed the Seahawks as 7.5-point favorites at home, setting the stage for a classic postseason clash. There is a powerful argument to be made for Seattle to dominate and cover this significant spread. The Seahawks finished the regular season with a dominant 14-3 record and boast the #1 scoring defense in the league, allowing just over 17 points per game. Their historical success at Lumen Field is legendary, having won 5 straight at home, and their statistical profile is elite across the board. Seattle holds a massive advantage in yards per point differential and yards per pass play, led by a revitalized Sam Darnold and the explosive Jackson Smith. Furthermore, they are fresh off a Week 18 defensive masterclass where they held these same 49ers to just 3 points, proving they have the blueprint to shut down Kyle Shanahan's offensive schemes. However, betting against the San Francisco 49ers in a playoff setting is a dangerous proposition. Despite losing stars like Nick Bosa and Fred Warner to season-ending injuries earlier this year, San Francisco has been a covering machine, going 12-6 against the spread on the season and 7-1 in their last 8 games. The 49ers are currently on a spectacular 5-0 run both straight up and against the spread on the road, proving that they are not intimidated by hostile environments. Christian McCaffrey operating at an MVP level and the offense moving the ball efficiently in the wildcard round, this unit is much more dangerous than the one that struggled in the regular season finale. Historically, the 49ers have covered the spread in 4 of their last 5 trips to Seattle, and they often find a way to keep divisional matchups within a single possession. So when you look at the recent form, you see 2 teams at the peak of their powers. Seattle has a lethal defense and the benefit of a rest week, but San Francisco has developed a road warrior identity that makes the current spread look quite generous. While the Seahawks are 5-0 in their last 5 home games, they have struggled to cover large spreads at home historically, going 7-14-1 against the spread in their last 22 games at Lumen Field. Because the San Francisco 49ers have shown incredible resilience on the road and possess a battle-tested roster that historically performs well against the Seahawks. Even though Seattle may find a way to win the game, we are getting locked and loaded with the 49ers to cover. If you appreciate this analysis, please hit that like button. Thank you. Now we turn the page to the betting total, a number that has been set in the mid-40s and sits as the ultimate litmus test for these 2 divisional rivals. This line represents a fascinating tug-of-war between Seattle's leading defensive wall and the San Francisco offense that, when healthy, can light up the scoreboard in a matter of seconds. There is a compelling case for the over, driven primarily by the sheer volume of elite playmakers on both sidelines. Since the return of their starting quarterback in the middle of the season, the San Francisco 49ers have been an offensive juggernaut, at one point averaging over 35 points per game. Christian McCaffrey remains the league's most versatile weapon, capable of breaking the game open on any given touch. On the other side, the Seattle Seahawks feature a balanced attack led by Sam Darnold and the emergence of Jackson Smith, a unit that averaged over 28 points per game during the regular season. Historically, when these 2 teams meet at Lumen Field, the scoreboard often gets a workout, with the total going over in 4 of their last 6 matchups in Seattle. If both teams can avoid early game jitters, we could see a back-and-forth affair that breezes past 45 points. However, the argument for the under is anchored in the reality of playoff football and the specific defensive identity of these 2 rivals. The Seattle Seahawks finished the year as the #1 scoring defense in the entire league, and they have made a habit of turning home games into low-scoring grinds. Recent trends heavily favor a defensive struggle, as the total has gone under in 4 of the last 5 meetings between these 2 franchises. Furthermore, the 49ers enter this matchup with significant injury concerns to key offensive anchors, including a season-ending injury to star tight end George Kittle. Without Kittle to stretch the middle of the field, San Francisco may lean even more heavily on a ball control rushing attack, which naturally bleeds the clock. When you combine Seattle's pass rushing depth with the pressure of a single elimination environment, points could be at a premium. While both teams are capable of explosive plays, the statistics suggest that this matchup is increasingly defined by defensive adjustments. Seattle's ability to limit opponent yardage and San Francisco's tendency to settle into long, methodical drives point toward a game where every possession is a battle. The Week 18 meeting, which saw a combined 16 points, serves as a recent reminder of how these 2 coaching staffs can neutralize one another's primary weapons. Because the Seattle Seahawks boast the top-ranked scoring defense in the league and the San Francisco 49ers are navigating critical injuries to their offensive core, the prediction is that this divisional clash will turn into a physical defensive war. We expect the defenses to dictate the pace of play. We are getting locked and loaded with the unders. So that wraps up another breakdown here on Locked and Loaded Sports. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the latest sports analysis and betting insights. More picks, more locks, and more action is coming your way. That's all for now. Stay sharp, stay ready, and get locked and loaded.